Okay, so in this last example right here, we're going to solve the right triangle. And when it says solve the right triangle, what it means is figure out all the missing sides and all the missing angles. Okay, so in order for us to figure out what AB is, right, we can use our Pythagorean theorem, right? So, maybe call it Y. And, quickly solve for that. Y squared plus 24 squared is equal to 25 squared. Y is the square root of 25 squared minus 24 squared. And if you use your calculator, the square root of 25 squared minus 24 squared will just give you 7. Okay, so I already solved for what AC is. That's just 7. And once you have it here, right, you can figure out any of these angles using your inverse trig. Okay, so they don't give us any angles over here for angle A and C. So once we figure out one of them, right, we could just do 90 minus one of these angles to get the other angle. So it doesn't matter which angle you want to find, which trig ratio you want to use. Let's say I want to find angle A. So if I want to find angle A, I have all three side lengths, right? It doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to use the fact that angle A, this 24 is opposite of angle A, and then I already have the hypotenuse. So I'm going to say sine of angle A is equal to 24 over 25. And I just showed you how to get angle A by itself, right? A is the sine inverse of 24 over 25. And then you would enter this on your calculator. Okay, so second sine inverse, 24 over 25. And we'll say it's about 73.7 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to round to the nearest tenth of a degree. All right, so once you have this angle right here, right, which is 73.7, that's the measurement of angle A. To figure out the measure of angle C, right, you could just do 90 minus 73.7 degrees, which is just 16.3 degrees. Okay, and now you've completely solved the triangle. You have all the angle measurements and all the side lengths. All right, here's another example, right? Again, you can quickly solve for what DE is just by using Pythagorean theorem. So R squared is equal to 20 squared plus 21 squared. And R is just going to be the square root of that. Okay, so using my calculator, I'm going to get 29 in this case. So you can fill in the 29 if you want once you solve it. So that's my DE. And to figure out any one of these angles, right, you can use sine, cosine, tangent. So this time I'm going to figure out what angle E is first instead of figuring out what this angle is. So if I want to use angle E, I could use any of the three trig ratios because I have all three side lengths. But assuming that I didn't know that this was 29, I'm just going to use the opposite side, the adjacent side. And if opposite over adjacent is just tangent, so I'm going to say tangent of angle E is opposite over adjacent, 20 over 21. And to get angle E by itself, you take the tan inverse of 20 over 21. Enter this on the calculator, tan inverse, second tan, 20 over 21. You're going to get approximately 43.6 degrees. And once you have the measurement of angle E, right, you can figure out what angle D is by doing 90 minus 43.6, which is just going to give you 46.4 degrees. Okay, so we've completely solved the triangle. Let's just do one more here. This time, they don't give you either one of these side lengths, but you can figure out what this angle is, right? Angle Y is just 90 minus 41, which is just 49 degrees. Okay, so this is 49 degrees because the sum of the measures of a triangle add up to 180, right? So, okay, now to figure out X and Y, right, you can't quite use Pythagorean theorem right now because you don't know either one. If you had two of the three sides, then you could use Pythagorean. But we're just going to use our trig ratio here. Let's say I want to solve for X first, okay? and I want to use my 49 degrees. Okay, it doesn't matter if you use the 49 or the 41. Well, x is next to x is next to 49, and then I also have a hypotenuse. So I'm going to say cosine of 49 is adjacent or hypotenuse x over 18.4. And so if I want to get x by itself, that's 18.4 times cosine of 49. And then x is approximately going to equal 18.4 times cosine of 49. Approximately it's going to equal 12.07. And assuming I still want to use the 49 degree angle instead of the 41, again, you could use the 41 as well. If I want to use the 49, I have a side that's opposite. I also have the hypotenuse. I'm going to use sine. Okay, so sine of 49 degrees is opposite, which is y, over the hypotenuse, which is 18.4. Again, to get y by itself, I would just cross multiply. Okay, so y is equal to 18.4 times the sine of 49 degrees. And enter this on your calculator, and you're done. All right, final answer, 13.89, around to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so I figured out what x and y are. I figured out what this angle is in the beginning just by the fact that, you know, the sum of the measures of a triangle add up to 180. Okay, and that will conclude this chapter and this semester.